There's just nothing left up there. So it's been 3 weeks since the fires, and I did a video where I showed a little bit of the aftermath and talked about it, but I just recently visited my favorite hiking place because it was in the path of the fire and I wanted to see how it did. And very disappointed. I'll be showing the footage here of that, but it was devastating seeing my favorite hiking spot just all burned over. This is all the fire aftermath. Oh jeez, it's horrible. Used to be covered with, should be covered with grass, and it's not. Wow. What a ferocious fire this was. It's like a Mars landscape. It's just so apocalyptic. Singed oak trees. No telling. I don't know, these ones don't look like they made it. Some of them did. Oh, just so sad. I mean, thankfully the property itself, none of the structures burned, so that's good. But in terms of the wilderness behind here, it's just bad. Oh man. Jesus Christ. It's a really old oak tree. Oh man. It's like no life left on this tree at all. Completely singed. I don't think any of the, I don't know. So it used to be sagebrush in here, and oh man, not anymore. These rocks are just blackened. Wow. See, I've never actually been to these rocks before because it's always been so heavily brushed, you know, with so much brush. I don't know if these are hot spots or what. They say hot spots burn for months. I swear I still smell smoldering up here. I've just never been able to hike where I'm hiking here. It's like an alien landscape. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Wow. It's just hardly recognize anything over here anymore. Sorry if my lens is dirty. All used to be sagebrush. This is just so much worse than I expected, because sometimes when you have a low-level brush fire that blows through quickly, it'll burn the more oily plants and leave the more hardy ones, like these live oaks. Live oaks generally do fairly well in fires, but it doesn't look like very many of them did. Oh, it's just sick to my stomach. Oh my God. It's just so sad. I mean, the most important thing is nobody got hurt and the property was saved. But now seeing the wildlife, the wilderness aspect of it is hard. It's hard to see. There's just nothing left up there. I would have expected the top of the oak canopies to be at least untouched, but boy, that is not the case. Oh, I can still feel hot spots a little bit. I'd been going to that place for years. It was a sanctuary to me, and it's just really psychologically messed with me. You know, what was once a beautiful place with very lush, healthy, wildlife and oak trees and all that, to just burned. It was just really difficult. And I went through some shock afterwards. It does sound kind of silly, because it's just a hiking spot, but that place really meant a lot to me. And to see it just all burned was devastating. Wait for that plane to go by. So my initial reaction was just shock. It was just in shock seeing it. So it was maybe a little more dramatic. Once I really thought about it and analyzed the footage again, most of the oak trees didn't actually combust. They just basically cooked. The leaves cooked like this. Like this isn't a cooked leaf, but you can see that at one time it was green and now it's brown. It's just dried out. Same thing in that case. It was just basically the heat dried out the leaves, cooked them, and killed the leaves, but the trees themselves may very well bounce back. The trees, those particular types of oaks are very adapted to fires, because California is used to seeing fires. It's normal. They might be okay. It looks maybe worse than it actually is. And all the grass burned away, it just looked terrible. It's just the psychological aspect of it. It's just really hard to see. On the other hand, I'm very, very thankful that none of the structures on the property burned, that nobody got hurt, everybody survived. So I'm very thankful for that. The crew saved the ranch. The owner that was up on that bulldozer saved the ranch and his team of guys on their bulldozers. I think seeing that, plus knowing how many people lost their homes and lives, just really was hard to deal with. So that was creating a lot of the sadness as well, just knowing how many people's lives were messed up or lost due to this fire. A lot of the plant life there will grow back very quickly. It's adapted to fires, so it has ways of coming back. In fact, that sagebrush that I show, all that's burned away, the only way it reproduces is with fire. It takes heat to make the seeds germinate. I'll show you guys some before and after. Oof. Yeah. That's it for this blog. Just wanted to show you guys more of the aftermath, and I think this will be about the last video that I shoot where I talk about the fires, because there's really not much else to say about it. So they do now have the fires one of them 100% contained. The other ones are like 98, 99% contained. But basically, we're not seeing any smoke in the air anymore. And look who's on our pile of clothes. Our little kitty. Yeah, see, when life gets down, always got my little kitty here to make me feel better.